It's 5 a.m. and I feel the ancestor spirit, the spirit of the skies, the water, the sun, the moon awakening me. I wake up slow and thoughtfully to allow my body to come into balance and to support my nervous system to settle as I go from laying to sitting. These intentional rhythms I've integrated into my morning have been a sacred reclamation of my energy. I greet the sunrise and the keeper of the morning, ancestral guardian Nebt Het, who holds the balance of day and night. This early morning time is when the energy and flow of our melanin is the strongest and most alive. I honor her by giving thanks to a new day and grounding into my breath, my body, ritual. I light candles to invoke the spirit of my ancestors through the element of fire. I infuse dried mugwort from last season's harvest and warm sesame oil. Sesame oil contains healing properties that feed and nourish our skin, like calcium and magnesium that reduce anxiety and strengthen our bones. Our ancestors saw bone health as the foundation of everything else. And when we massage these warm oils into our skin, we are solidifying a safe future for our nervous system to land. Abhyanga, a ritual of self-love, I massage in circular motions while infusing prayers for the day into my skin, restoring harmony and balance, guiding the detoxification process of our lymphatic systems, and aiding in the release of toxins. I feel my nervous system settle, my inner child held in a sanctuary of love and warmth. The chi machine acts as a bridge between the shaking and rocking practices I imagine I'd receive naturally if my cultural lineage had been left intact. The gentle rocking and shaking provides an Afrofuturistic portal for the cultivation of Mayat within my body, improving blood flow, increasing oxygen, and releasing tension. I settle into these moments, allowing the love to wash over me. Yin yoga and gentle movements invite my breath and body to soften, reminding me that home is in my body where I cultivate safety. Today I'm drinking this heart and nervous system tea to commune with the Plancestors. Rose, damiana, hawthorn, linden, lemon balm, strawberry, of course I added a little extra, cardamom, cinnamon, and cacao nibs remind me of my worthiness in a world that deems Black women disposable, allowing me to feel my power, my softness, my creativity, my birthright to feel, to be, to safety. And when I have a few extra moments in my morning, I try to read a poem to organize my thoughts and my mind around what I care about. A mask of honey and hibiscus nourishes my skin as I begin to wash away the oils from the morning ceremony, shedding all that no longer serves me as I prepare to emerge like a spring fern making its way through the soil into a new day. I am ready to embody my sacred yes. By the time 6:30 rolls around, my body feels pretty grounded, my nervous system feels really nourished, and I really feel able to show up to the day and to my children with a lot of presence and openness and the ability to really connect with them and help their nervous systems settle and feel welcome to greet the day. After my shower and after I've done all my practices, I put on my cocoa butter, and sometimes my kids won't come knocking on my door by that time, but sometimes they will. And I just feel like that's such a beautiful way for them to wake up and to see their parent, as like I wake up in the morning and I see my parent taking care of themselves as an act of service to taking care of me, and them being able to see that when I care for my nervous system and my body, I'm able to show up and care for their nervous systems and their body in such a different way. And I feel like that's really how we start to reparent our inner child. We're really creating a morning routine that is not abandoning our inner child and trying to move too fast, but really inviting our inner child to feel protected and safe and heard and loved. And I have just found that that has such a huge difference on my mental, emotional, spiritual, and physical health, and the ways that I'm able to show up in my body and with my children and with my family. I really believe that productivity doesn't come from us doing a bunch of things really fast and rushing our bodies and centering urgency. I feel like that may get a lot of physical tasks done in a moment, but it has a huge impact on our health and on our bodies. And over time, it will really slow you down and it will make it really hard for you to show up in the world and in your body in a sustainable way that feels grounding and nourishing and safe. And I learned that the really hard way. And this, so many of the videos that I'm making right now are really love letters to you, and they're videos I wish that I had access to when I was in my 20s, when I was younger, or even a few weeks ago, or a few months ago, or a few years ago, going through the life journey and process that I've been in lately. This is stuff that I really needed and still need, and I had a hard time finding. And so I really want to share these videos with you and with the world so that you can learn this wisdom wherever you are in your journey and know that there is hope for you, that if you are experiencing exhaustion or burnout, that's not the final destination, that you have choice and that there are things to do that can really help to replenish your nervous system. But that requires not going back to the way that you used to be doing things, which was a really hard lesson for me. For a long time, I thought that I could just do somatic practices, embodiment practices, heal trauma, learn how to heal my nervous system so that I could go back to doing the things that I was doing before that were making me really sick, like working really hard or all these other things that are things I actually enjoyed doing. And what I found through that process is actually something that I learned from working with the plant oat straw. And what I was finding is that my nervous system was so overwhelmed and imbalanced and anxious all of the time. And I started drinking oat straw. It has a lot of beautiful properties for nervous system healing and support, and literally physically heals your physical nervous system, rebuilding the myelin sheath, which is the insulation that helps your nervous system send accurate signals of safety to your body. So it's really important. But anyway, I thought that I could just start drinking oat straw as a way to heal my nervous system so that I could feel better, so that I could go back to work and do all the things I was doing before at the speed and volume at which I was doing them. And what I found was that when I started drinking oat straw, it really started to settle my nervous system, and it made it really hard for me to move at the same pace I was moving before. And so I was drinking oat straw and simultaneously trying to be really productive and have high volume, high intensity, do all of these things. And it was like the oat straw was kind of working against that. It was kind of starting to create this boundary in my nervous system of hey, you really need to slow down. And so that really shifted something in my awareness and really helped me recognize that this journey of caring for our bodies in a way that is in service to ourselves, our children, our families, and to our communities, collective, and the earth is a journey that isn't asking us to do what we were doing before more slowly or more mindfully or with more presence or with a different quality. It's actually asking us to do something else entirely. And so this past year has been so much grief and so much pain and like a real huge disorganization of who I thought I was and everything that I was becoming. It's really shattered my identity of who I thought I was in terms of like the pace, the volume, the success, all of the ways that I have historically moved in the world. And it's really caused me to slow down, listen to my body, and learn how to do things in a completely different way, where there's been a lot of grief in that because there's a lot of unknown, a lot of discomfort, and a lot of listening to my body and the stories that my body has been trying to share with me for so many years that I've ignored. And so those stories are all just bubbling up, and I'm doing so much work around increasing my capacity to feel so that when my body sends me messages, I'm not numbing out or running away from them, but I'm really listening to the wisdom my body is trying to share with me. And that can feel really scary because it really asks us to completely change our lives in the way that we do what we do and why we're doing what we're doing and what exactly it is we're doing. And so this morning routine has really been a sacred ritual, a ceremony, a prayer, and a commitment to my nervous system to really organize my skin and my muscles and my bones and my fascia and my tissues and all of the cells in my body around what I truly care about and how I want to feel inside of my life. And how I want to feel inside of my life that is in service to taking care of and protecting my inner child, being present and having more capacity to be with the ebbs and flows and unknowns and chaos of parenting, of being a present, available partner, and of organizing myself around caring for myself in such a way that is in service to the collective and to my community. Because when we don't take care of our bodies, it has a huge impact on everybody around us. And, there are many villages and many communities where this is deeply ingrained into the culture, where the belief is that you come to ceremony, you come to ritual, you come to the spaces where we are grieving, where we are processing emotion. And if someone in the community doesn't come to that, everyone has a lot of feelings about it because the belief is that if you aren't caring for yourself, it's going to have a huge impact on your community. And so caring for yourself in a way that's in service to the community is something that you are accountable for. And that's something that I deeply believe and that I have really seen in my own life and the communities I'm a part of. And that really doesn't mean that you have to be this white standard of health and wellness in order to be part of your community or to not be a burden to community. You can experience mental illness, you can experience chronic illness, you can experience all of the physical manifestations of that are really symptoms of living in a capitalist culture. And those can impact your body in really, really painful ways. And you are still needed in community. And you don't have to be this idea of health or wellness where we see as like ultimately nothing is wrong with you and everything's perfect, which is not real. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is that we have a commitment to loving ourselves and to finding ways to come back into relationship with our inner child that, and for many of us, has been abandoned through childhood trauma and through so many experiences. And that by coming back home to ourselves, by learning how to regenerate safety from the inside out and really learning how to care for and tend to our nervous systems, that is a really beautiful gift to our community, and it has profound impacts on the ways that we organize our lives and what we are building together in community when we say yes to that. So many of the practices that I have been integrating into my morning routine, my evening routine, and the way that I move throughout the day is really about me reclaiming access to my body and learning how to say yes to caring for and prioritizing my health and my wellness and my nervous system and my inner child. And I have really seen this profoundly impact the way that I am able to care for and show up for my children and care for and show up for myself. There are many days where I have to shift things or modify my routine. Maybe I don't wake up on time. Maybe my kids wake up earlier and they need something, or for so many different reasons. And even when I can't do all of the practices that I've shared with you, the core foundational practice for me has really been about connecting, recommitting, and embracing fluidity and embracing change instead of getting stuck to a rigid routine, because our nervous systems will really reject rigidity, and it will have a really painful, often, impact on our nervous systems when we get stuck to a routine rather than being in relationship with the fluidity. Like, that's the real practice, not all the practices I do. So even when I can't engage with all of these practices, I'll at least have a moment for myself where I will say prayers into my water and drink those prayers, or where I'll rub cocoa butter on my skin and say some prayers. I'll find a way to bring in some little tiny aspects of these practices to help my nervous system and my inner child remember that I love them, that I'm here with them, I'm one of their protectors and their safekeepers, and that I'll continue to show up for them. And then I can really feel that grounding my body. And the way that you spend your morning has a really significant impact on how the rest of your day feels. So I have found it really important, even when I don't feel like it, to commit to engaging in practices in the morning, especially, that really center what I value, the world and the life I long for, and how I want to feel in my body and in my day. And I notice that when I do that, it really shifts the way that my nervous system moves through the world, and it helps me to organize myself and move towards moments in my day and opportunities that actually really align with what I care about, and helps my nervous system get into that flow rather than getting into a flow of only noticing and participating in things that make me feel worse. And you've probably had an experience like that where you're having a bad morning, you wake up, it doesn't feel good, you stub your toe, traffic's moving too slow, all of these different things start to compound. And it's not necessarily that those things aren't happening, but what it is to say is that while all those really frustrating things are happening, there's also so many opportunities for connection and belonging and things to help your nervous system settle. And when we attune our attention and bring our attention there, right when we wake up, it helps our bodies start to learn how to pick up signs in our environment that really validate that reality that we're starting to create for ourselves, that this is true, that the wind and the breeze and the air is here, and the trees are breathing, and the butterflies are flying by, and I can feel breath in my lungs, and I can feel the full-bodied laugh of my child. I can feel that when I'm sitting with them. And so really starting out your day with practices that help you to really ground into your body and your presence has a really profound impact on your nervous system and on the flow of your day and your life. And you deserve to feel nourished. You deserve to feel grounded. You deserve to have a routine and a rhythm that really speaks to your nervous system. You deserve to explore with great curiosity what makes you feel more like yourself, what makes you be able to access more presence and openness and connection in your nervous system. And you really deserve to explore what a morning rhythm or routine could look and feel like for you that would feel nourishing and that would allow you to feel more aligned with the life and the day and the moment that you care about. So my love, I'm just wishing you the most nourishing and grounding day. If this rhythm and routine really speaks to you, please share it with your friends, your family, anyone who you think could benefit from it. And make sure to like and subscribe to the channel so we can continue to build this community of safety and belonging and nourishment and connection. I'll look forward to seeing you next week, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye, loves.